starting out, kind of give you a little background on me. So who is this dude up here speaking? That's kind of the Secret Service intel analyst. I was a big boy, so I was like 260 pounds, 265 pounds. That was my biggest ever. I thought I looked like really good, but I didn't feel good. That's one of the things that I wanted to. I'm not up here to be like, oh yeah, look at my abs. I'm 34 now. Like in my 20s, I was all about abs, and abs are cool. You know, abs are great. But ultimately, as I got out of my 20s, feeling good was much more to me than like looking good. Being up here able to speak to you guys is way cooler than having a pair of abs, in my opinion now. Before you like think about getting more toned or putting on more muscle, you have to get leaner first. And resistance training is the first and foremost thing that you have to do for this, right? So your body just doesn't work as well if you don't lose fat and you don't get leaner first. But my main point here is hormonally and like dealing with things like carbohydrates and being able to use carbohydrates for performance and for building muscle and for training, going to be a lot more efficient if you get leaner first. My recommendation a lot of times is starting slow with people. So 3-4 times a week, add in just a little bit of aerobic cardio. That's going to allow you to start using oxygen better in the body. And then slowly push up from there. So your body, once it is able to use food better, by starting off slower, you're going to be able to push that up. And what that's going to do, you're going to raise your metabolism at a rate, right, where you get it nice and high. So traditional calories, your body is not a calculator, okay? So logging all your stuff on MyFitnessPal and stuff, like you can do that, and I think it's a good tool. But ultimately, like if somebody's eating these 100-pack of like Chips Ahoy or like these things, right? That isn't the same thing as 100 calories from like broccoli. The truth of the matter is, most people are undernourished and malnourished. If I recommend any cardio starting off, it's very slow, very low intensity, just to build an aerobic base, okay? And then when people are starting using energy better, then you can push cardio even harder. Okay, meal plans work, all right? But the main thing with meal plans is you're not learning anything. So sleeping posture plus standing posture, I mean, so many people, one of the first things that I try to fix with people when they come into the gym is like their posture. I mean, a lot of the things that we're doing are a lot of rowing movements. So like a 2-to-1 ratio of posterior to anterior movements. So more rowing, making sure your posture is a lot better, because ultimately, what guy wants a big chest? Okay, cool. You can't have a big chest if you don't have good posture. You can't have good chest if you don't have good posture, okay? It's just not possible. Why? Because you're on a bench, you're laying back, you're trying to press. If your back and your shoulders aren't back against the bench and stuck there, what happens to your shoulders? They go forward. Now it looks like I have a cardboard chest, right? But if I stay back, I can actually squeeze through the whole time. Overeating while undernourishing, putting people on a nutrition plan when they first come into like Icon Gym, it's generally like a low calorie, right? So guys, I'll start out at like maybe 2,000, which is not that much. And females will start out with like 1,000 a lot of times. Again, why is this? Because people need to start using energy better, okay? Training 3 times a week. A lot of people are really full though. When they eat, they're eating like 3 times a day, and they're only eating like 1,000 calories for a female. Like they're really full. Why? Because they're eating really good food and really nutrient-dense food, right? And then they start making energy better. Then we start throwing more food on, just slowly. Okay, we start pushing up their training, and then they're getting better. Their body's changing. They're seeing the results, right? Branched chain amino acids for training, yeah. BCAAs. So that plus some fiber can actually help with cravings. Okay. Palate changes. So paying attention to how your palate is changing as you lose fat, as you're going through a transformation. Confidence, controlling your life. These are all the other things that the Icon Gym focuses on, rather than just fat loss. Strength gains, mental health, cognitive health, better your job and career, sense of community, postural improvements. I had a competitor, a girl competing, and she was like 3 weeks out from her show, And I was like, why are her legs getting leaner? Like, she was very lean up top. Like, her legs were getting leaner, but not that lean. She wasn't moving on her skin caliper measurements. And I was like, Jess, I was like, what are you doing in terms of like your skincare products? And she was like, oh, she's like, here, I take all these, and they were all like L'Oreal. Yeah. And I looked at the EWG.org, and it was like red. And so I was like, just get rid of those. I was like, get all natural. She was like still 3 or 4 weeks out from her show. I was like, get all natural stuff. And then she got on that. Like a week or two went by, and she dropped about 4 millimeters on her, and that's pretty significant in terms of her caliper measurements on her thigh. Whenever you see something like just juices and stuff like that, like that's just like stay away from it. So you have your 3 phases of detoxification, right? And a lot of people don't even talk about this, and you know, a lot of times it's not worth talking. But phase 1, you need minerals, you need vitamins, okay? So B vitamins, things like that. Phase 2, you need amino acids, like protein, okay? So that's where I was asking him, like, what was your meal consisting of? Because if you don't have protein, like, if you don't have those 2 like phases, right? He's getting a lot of vitamins, minerals from the vegetables. He's getting a lot of the aminos from the protein, all the essential aminos. And then phase 3 is just excretion. So a lot of these cleanses are just advocating, like, take this juice, drink this juice, and you'll lose weight without like the protein and things like that, which is completely like you're not detoxing anything. You're just losing weight, you know, which, I mean, anybody, like, it's just calorie restriction. That's all it is. A lot of times what I like to use with people to start to get them leaner and start getting them to use carbohydrates more effectively is like 10 to 14 days, very, very low carb, okay? And then bringing carbs back in slowly around their training, like after their training. Who's heard of keto? Who knows what keto is?
I just heard about it.
Okay. Okay, so it's just really, really high fat, 20% protein, 75% fat, 5% carbohydrates. I've done it. I've done pretty much every diet there is. I mean, I think that's the best way to learn about it. Just do it yourself, experiment. Feel awesome on it mentally. For performance, probably not the best in terms, and I wouldn't recommend it for like athletes at all. Just because the body wants to run on glucose and carbohydrates more than anything. But for somebody looking to lose fat and for obese and people that have more body fat, definitely a really good strategy, especially starting out 4 to 6 weeks. Definitely really good to get the body more sensitive also to carbohydrates, but you don't want to totally leave carbohydrates out of the equation. And then high protein. Okay, so generally speaking, you want to maintain a moderate to higher protein. Just make sure you're drinking enough water, doing all that stuff. If you're weight training, like Scott has you guys weight training, moderate to higher protein most of the time for optimal body composition, okay? Protein is very satiating. It's going to burn the hottest in your body. And just digesting protein, your body uses about 20% of that protein's calories just through digestion alone. Before you do anything, check your gut health, assess your lifestyle factors, make sure you're setting realistic deadlines. Do the basics really well first, then look at tweaking things. Keep it simple, stupid. And then know it's a lifestyle, meaning your entire life you should be strength training, more or less, or resistance training in some way for optimal benefits and results, all right?